starting with zoology. I'll tell the chapters which we should get done with, which I'll be getting done. First is breathing and exchange of gases. That's the thing. Yes, it's not that much in depth like yesterday's. I'll go as short notes. I go to the short notes. So then we have body fluids and circulation. And yes, I know the next chapter, that is excretory products and their eliminations. Without any more further delay, let's get started with these chapters and let's get done. After this, we have to get done through botany also. Botany also we have like 3 chapters. So yes, first let's get done with zoology. First thing first, breathing and exchange of gases. Respiration is an oxidative process involving the oxidation of food substances such as carbohydrates, fats, and proteins within the tissue to form CO2, water, and consequent release of energy. The respiratory system provides the route by which the oxygen present in our environment gains entry into the body and the carbon dioxide is excreted. This whole process of exchange of gases is called breathing. So what's basically breathing? Exchange of gases known as breathing. Okay. Respiratory organs. Different animal groups have evolved different mechanisms of breathing for exchange of gases. Lower animal groups like sponges, cnidaриans, platyhelminthes, and free-living roundworms exchange O2 by simple diffusion through body surface. Earthworms respire through moist cuticle, and insects have a network of these tubules, tracheal tubes, to transport atmospheric air within the body. Special vascularized structures called the gills, branchial respiration are used by most of the aquatic arthropods and mollusks. The highly vascularized bags called lungs, pulmonary respiration are used by the interstitial forms for the exchange of gases, example reptiles, birds and mammals. Amphibians, frog respire through their skin, cutaneous respiration as well as lungs. This is very important. Amphibians like frogs respire through their skin, cutaneous respiration as well as lungs. Human respiratory system. Our respiratory system begins with the external nostrils which lead to the nasal chamber. The nasal chamber then produces the following structures tabulated below. Pharynx, common passage for food and air. Larynx, cartilaginous sound box which helps in sound production. And entry of food into larynx during swallowing is prevented by epiglottis. It is a thin cartilaginous flap which covers the glottis of larynx. Trachea. Pharynx opens in through the larynx region. Straight tube extending up to the mid-thoracic cavity. It bifurcates at the level of 5th thoracic vertebra. Then bronchi. 2 in number undergo repeated division to form secondary, tertiary bronchi and terminal bronchioles. These are formed by the bifurcation of trachea. Alveoli. Thin, irregular, walled, vascularized bag-like structure at the terminal ends of the bronchioles. Lungs constitute branching network of bronchi, bronchioles, and alveoli, covered by double-layered pleura with pleural fluid between them. Airtight chamber formed dorsally by vertebral column, ventrally by sternum, laterally by ribs, and on lower side diaphragm is present. This is important. Dorsally by vertebral column, ventrally by sternum, dorsally vertebral, ventrally sternum, laterally ribs, lower side diaphragm is present. The human respiratory system consists of 2 parts, that is the conducting and exchanging parts. The former helps to transport atmospheric air to the alveoli, clearing air and humidifying it. This is the same thing which we went through yesterday. Conducting part and the respiratory part. The conducting part is everything until the bronchioles, and after the bronchioles, the alveoli and the lungs part which is involved in the respiration is the respiratory part or in the respiratory tract where the exchange of gas actually takes place. Before that is the pathway through which the gas travels. The latter is the actual site of O2 and CO. Okay. Diffusion between blood and atmospheric air. The conducting portion consists of nostrils, pharynx, larynx, trachea and bronchi, while exchanging portion consists of alveoli and their ducts. Conducting part is the conduction part and the exchange part is known as the respiratory part or the respiratory tract. Mechanism of breathing. Breathing or pulmonary ventilation occurs in 2 stages, that is inspiration and expiration. During inspiration, active process. Air enters in lungs from the atmosphere during expiration. Passive process, air is released out from the lungs. Both these processes are carried out by creating a pressure gradient between lungs and atmosphere. During inspiration, diaphragm and intercostal muscles contract. Intercostal muscles lying in between the ribs. They contract, causing an increase in the volume of thoracic chamber. This increase in the volume of thoracic chamber leads to the inspiration. This overall increase in thoracic volume causes a similar increase in pulmonary volume. As a result, there occurs a decrease in intrapulmonary pressure. The greater atmospheric pressure outside the body now causes air to flow rapidly into lungs. During expiration, diaphragm and intercostal muscles relax and decrease the volume of thoracic chamber and thereby pulmonary volume. At this moment, intrapulmonary pressure is slightly above the atmospheric pressure. And then this in turn causes the expulsion of the air from the lungs. The process of expiration is simpler than inspiration. Respiratory volumes and capacities. The quantity of air the lungs can receive, hold, or expel under different conditions is known as respiratory or pulmonary volumes. Combination of two or more pulmonary volumes are called respiratory capacities. Different types of respiratory columns and respiratory capacities are tabulated below. Tidal volume, volume of air inspired or expired during a normal respiration. The tidal volume, which is about 500 ml. Inspiratory reserve volume (IRV), additional volume of air a person can inspire by forceful inspiration. Additional volume of air a person can inspire by forceful inspiration is IRV, inspiratory reserve volume, which is about 2500 to 3000 ml. Then expiratory reserve volume, additional volume of air a person can expire by a forcible expiration. About 1000 to 1100 ml. Then residual volume, remaining volume of air in lungs after a forcible expiration, about 1100 to 1200 ml. Then we have respiratory capacities. These were so far respiratory volumes. So then further ones are respiratory capacity. Inspiratory capacity IC. Total volume of air a person can inspire after normal expiration is 3500 ml. Expiratory capacity EC. Total volume of air a person can inspire after normal inspiration is 1600 ml. Expiratory capacity. Total volume of air a person can expire after normal inspiration. It's 1600 ml. Functional residual capacity. Volume of air that will remain in the lungs after normal expiration is functional residual capacity. It's about 2300 ml. Vital capacity, maximum volume of air a person can breathe after forced expiration. 4600 ml. Total lung capacity TLC. Total volume of air accommodated in the lungs at the end of forced inspiration is 5800 ml. Exchange of gases. The primary site for gaseous exchange is alveoli. Gaseous exchange takes place by simple diffusion, mainly based on pressure concentration. Solubility of gases and thickness of membranes affect the rate of diffusion. Pressure contributed by individual gas in mixture of gas is called partial pressure. The solubility of CO2 is 20 to 25 times higher than that of O2. Therefore, CO2 diffuses faster than O2 across diffusion membrane. Diffusion membrane less than 1 mm thick is made up of 3 layers. Okay. Thin squamous epithelium of alveoli, endothelium of alveolar capillary, and basement membrane. gaseous exchange occurs at two levels, that is, between alveoli and blood, external respiration, and between blood and tissue cells, internal respiration. How is between alveoli and blood external when between alveoli and tissues it's internal? That was a question. Then, exchange of gases between alveoli and blood. So the process in which we study the exchange of gases between alveoli and blood. Here it is. Diffusion of gases along the concentration gradient. First, the deoxygenated blood enters alveoli and it consists of high partial pressure of oxygen, which is of 104 mm of Hg, low partial pressure of carbon dioxide, which is of 40 mm Hg. The oxygen travels to the deoxygenated blood. Basically, the composition of deoxygenated blood is low PO2, which is of 40 mm Hg, and high PCO2, which is of 45 mm of Hg. Here, the diffusion of gases along the concentration gradient takes place. That is in the first case, that between alveoli and blood. In the second case, exchange of gases between blood and tissue cells. First, the capillary blood or oxygenated blood, which is of high PO2 and low PCO2, enters the tissues. The tissues, which consist the low PO2 40 mm Hg, high PCO2 45 mm Hg, gets taken out from the tissues and is then given back in the diffusion of gases along the concentration gradient, where carbon dioxide again travels through the same path to reach till the alveoli. So then transport of gases. We studied the mechanism of how it works, and we even got to know the exchange. Before exchange there was respiratory volumes and capacities, then we are now aware of exchange. Then transport of gases. How does transport of gases actually takes place? Blood carries oxygen from the lungs to the tissue cells for oxidation and carbon dioxide from the tissue cells to the respiratory surface for elimination. Blood is medium transport of oxygen and carbon dioxide. Transport of oxygen. About 97% of O2 is transported by as oxyhemoglobin by RBCs in the blood. The remaining 3% of O2 is carried in a dissolved state through the plasma. The percentage of hemoglobin that is bound with O2 is called percentage saturation of hemoglobin. The relationship between percentage saturation of hemoglobin in blood and oxygen tension is called oxygen dissociation curve. In alveoli, high PO2, low PCO2, less H plus and lower temperature favor the formation of oxyhemoglobin. The curve shifts to right. In the tissues, reverse of above condition favors the dissociation of O2 from oxyhemoglobin, shifting the curve to left. Every 100 ml of oxygenated blood deliver around 5 ml of O2 to tissues under normal condition. Transport of carbon dioxide. CO2 is transported from the tissues to blood mainly as bicarbonate ion in plasma and erythrocytes about 70%. Partially as carbaminohemoglobin, which is formed in the RBCs of combination of CO2 and reduced hemoglobin about 20 to 25%. 7% of CO2 is carried out in dissolved stage through plasma. What is the answer for this? When in the tissues, reverse or above conditions favor the dissociation of O2 from oxyhemoglobin, shifting the curve to left. Every 100 ml of oxygenated blood deliver around 5 ml of O2 to the new tissues medium under normal conditions. Transport of carbon dioxide. CO2 is transported from the tissues to blood mainly as bicarbonate ion in plasma and erythrocytes about 70%. Partly has carbaminohemoglobin, which is formed in the RBCs by elimination of CO2 and reduced hemoglobin about 20 to 25%. 7% of CO2 is carried on with the dissolved state process. High PCO2 and low PO2 as in tissues favors binding of CO2 into HB walls, while low PCO2 and high O2 in alveoli favors dissociation to form CO2 from carbaminohemoglobin. These reactions are favored by enzymes called anhydrase. Regulation of respiration. Process of respiration is under both nervous and chemical controls. So, neural regulation. The group of neurons located in the medulla oblongata and pons varoli act as the respiratory center, which is composed of groups of neurons. Hence, respiratory center is divided into medullary capillary, medullary center, and pons receptory center. Dorsal respiratory group (DRG) consists of medullary receptory center, which is of ventral respiratory group. Then another one is pons exterior center. Okay, all are complete. Process inspiration location in the dorsal portion of medulla. Chemical regulation. It includes the effect of CO2, O2, and H4 concentration around the receptors are located in carotid bodies. And carbon dioxide and aortic bodies are the peripheral decomposers, but these are located in brain are called chemotriceptors. Then we have disorders of respiratory system. Disorders of respiratory system. Common respiratory disorders are tabulated below. So what are the basic common tabulated disorders given by the NCERT is asthma, emphysema, and one more is occupational receptor disorder. So it is asthma, difficulty in breathing, wheezing due to inflammation of bronchi and bronchioles. Emphysema, decreased respiratory surface due to damaged alveolar walls, mainly causes due to AP. Human circulatory system. Heart is mesodermal in origin. It remains bounded by double wall membrane called pericardium, in which it encloses pericardial fluid. Intercalary, the chambers of heart, that is the two auricles, atria, two ventricles are separated by different shapes of valves. These chambers of heart muscle below the aortic are chambers below. Auricles. They are the upper thin two-walled and smaller chambers. They were able to receive the blood throughout the young may not dead throughout the function. Then now study. Then the ventricles, these are the lower two chamber of the heart that pumps blood in various forms of heart. These functions of pumping chambers, both right and left ventricles, is separated by interventricular septum. Then we have the heart wheels. Oh. So this is the flow chart of the body fluids and circulations, but it's the same thing really. So first is the blood. Blood consists of the plasma and the formed elements. After the formed elements is like the lymph plays an important role. After lymph is the circulatory pathways. And yes, before that we have the coagulation of blood and the clotting factors affecting the coagulation of blood. After that we have human circulatory system. In human circulatory system, it's always that anything which is related to heart and is always involving the heart study of heart. Okay, then we have here heart. Heart alone is V. Then heart wheels, blood vessels. After blood vessels are really four types. Arterials as blood wall cell which carry the most away from the heart to various body parts, carry oxygenated blood, pure blood in them, except the pulmonary artery which carries the oxygenated impulse blood to the lungs. Blood vessel. Due to this only later we'll get even ECG counts. The blood vessel. Heartbeat and cardiac cycle. Same thing again. Cardiac cycle, heartbeat, cardiac output, double circulation, and electrocardiogram. What does the electrocardiogram signifies? It signifies the heart rate, and due to that we can actually count the heart rate by PQRS complex, and the another one term is also called as ventricular diastole. Here we have certain disorders of circulatory system. Then we will obviously have regulation of the animal kingdom. That's an important. After that 5 into 10 to the power of 3 meter per cell. complication of cardiac activity, disorders of circulatory system, high blood pressure or hypertension, coronary artery CAD. We did an MCQ yesterday. Atherosclerosis and atherosclerosis. Atherosclerosis. They asked that in a question. So athero means you are staying back because your heart is not ready to stay back. Whereas for those meaning you should stay back even if the heart is happy or not, it should just pump. And even if the brain is satisfied or unsatisfied, it should just stay in. Right? So that's all about it. Here we have excretory products and their elimination. Whereas excretory products yesterday's normal excretory products, three types are there: ammonotelic, ureotelic, uricotelic. After that, which all falls under ammono, which all falls under urea, and which all falls under urico. We fall under urea, so ureotelic. So we are going to follow the ureotelic part in this. And now the human excretory system. What all the human excretory system actually consists of? It consists of kidneys, and the kidneys, after kidneys is again, in the kidneys there are certain parts, like the whole process starts from left ventricle, and later there's no such as an end. Okay, the end are two types. One is the reabsorption which again takes place, another one is the secretion which has been done. Secreted waste gets discharged out of the body, whereas reabsorbed items or elements compounds gets oxidized back into the body. Okay, then we have here, this is then the urine formation. Zoology. Zoology with three chapters. Yeah, breathing and extended gases. The nephron chapter, and here the morphological of flowering plants. The inflorescences there. So let's just check this. Afferent arterioles branch from a network of blood capillaries called glomerulus. Afferent arterioles carry the blood away from the glomerulus. Yesterday's doubt. Malpighian body or renal capsule constitutes glomerular and Bowman's capsule. Various types of parts of renal tube as follows. Bowman's capsule, PCT, Henry's loop, DST, and collecting duct. So these are different types, or rather like subgroups. We have glomerular filtration or ultrafiltration. This is the first most important step, and half of the thing gets over in glomerular filtration. Very less things are left for other substances. Selective reabsorption and tubular secretion. These are like the main three parts for heart control. In response to increased blood pressure, arterial natriuretic factor ANF is released by heart, which causes vasodilation and decreases beat, opposes RAAS mass. With that, we're done with zoology. Seen zoology for so long. Botany is really big. Going through quickly biological classification, plant kingdom, then the morphology on flowering plants. I cover up them. Because the flowering plants has those age division and all, which is actually not there in this life. Inflorescence. The inflorescence consists of what all great things is actinomorphic, that is radial symmetry, when a flower can be divided into two equal radial halves. Then zygomorphic, bilateral symmetry, when a flower is divided into two equal halves only along one vertical plane. And yes, examples are very important. Mustard is same as brassica. Okay. Datura and chili. Datura and chili are something new. Whereas zygomorphic, bilateral symmetry. When a flower is divided into two equal halves, one say along plane, etc. Palm tree, like the Gumoha tree and bean, Dolichos and Cassia are the trees. Then we have the first one is radial symmetry, bilateral symmetry, polysymmetry. Types of flowers based on the position of ovary. Based on the position of ovary, flowers can be of three types, that is hypogamous flower, perigamous flower, epigamous flower. These are the something new which helped for the person, which helped in getting the in-depth knowledge of the hypogynous flower, perigynous flower, epigynous flower, and its situation of ovary, which is either superior, inferior, or half inferior. Okay, the examples are as follows. In hypogynous flower, the ovary is superior. Example, mustard, China rose, brinjal. In perigynous flower, the ovaries is half inferior, that is plum, rose, and peach. Whereas the epigynous flower is inferior. The other part of lower rise upward. The margin of thalamus grows upward, enclosing the ovary completely and get fused with it. The other part of the flower rise above the thoracic itself. The ovary is called inferior. So the margin of thalamus grows upward, enclosing the ovary completely and gets fused with it also. Whereas the ovary is called inferior. In guava and cucumber, the ray florets of sunflower also has trigynous flower. Epigynous flower. Okay, first thing first. Inflorescence. After inflorescence, we have the structures of a flower. So first we should know the structures of a flower, how a flower is structured. So for that first thing, first you cut a flower to see its structure. So you see the symmetry. So in that we have radial symmetry, same things only, but here we have a bit specified, that is radial symmetry, bilateral symmetry and lateral symmetry. Based on this also some colleges still do higher pieces. Now when it comes to types of flowers based on position of ovary. Types of flowers are based on different position at different places. At the position of ovary, then the superior part occupies the highest part and the inferior part occupies the lower. Now Vaishnavi. Okay, let's not talk about it. Then perigynous flower. The gynoecium is situated in the center and the other part of the flower are located on the rim of the thalamus almost at the same level. The ovary here is called half inferior because of the presence of what? A bit bulged perigynous flower. Example, plum, rose and peach. Plum, rose and peach. Very level road is are the flowers or very uh, the curved road one. The either or this one. Plum rose, strawberry and cheese. Strawberries and position. Again, when it comes to estivation, it's of different types. Types of estivation, that is mode of arrangement of sepals or petals in floral valve with respect to moon. So yeah, moon estivization. So types of estivation, estivatia, wool, yeah, estivation, that is of valvate estivation, that is of calotropis, twisted one for dotted, imbricate estivation, then we have quincuntial, then we have axillary or papillineous. Papillineous is 6. Now the second is kathak or twisted. Union of stamens. Stamens are of cohesion of stamens and adhesion of stamens occurs. Cohesion of stamens is monoidophus, diidophus, polyoidophus, and syngenesius, synandromastomas. Then all arenoclast is filtrate and filtrates the iron and that filtrates. Is it replaced by the that makes good. The fluid which travels through auto again and goes into the alveoli of left side. The study of flower is known as ornithology. Flower is specialized pendant shoot, which is meant for sexual reproduction. The swollen end of the pedicel where the intervals are contents on the flower, which are of four types: florals, calyx, corolla, and gynecium, and arranged successively, is called thalamus or receptacle. Calyx and corolla are accessory organs, while androgen and gynecium are reproductive organs. A flower having both the essential organs and bisexual are hermaphrodite or perfect one. It is perfect or asexual only if two essential flower organs are present. Symmetry of flower. The arrangement of flowers or flower organs around the axis of the flower is called as floral symmetry. Actinomorphic radial symmetry, when a flower can be divided into two equal radial halves in any radial plane passing through the center. Example: mustard brassica, datura chili. Zygomorphic is bilateral symmetry, when a flower is divided into two equal halves only on one vertical plane. Example: Physum sativum, Bulmohar, Dolichos, and Cassia. Now the asymmetry, that is the irregular. When a flower cannot be divided into two equal halves by any plane passing through the center, that is canna. For asymmetry. Now a flower may be trimerous, tetramerous, or pentamerous. When the flower holes are multiple, they are the multiples of 3, 4, and 5. Flowers with bracts are reduced leaves. Okay, found at the base of the floral halls are the bracteate, and the flowers without the bracts are ebracteate. Okay, types of flowers based on position of ovary. Based on the position of calyx, corolla, androecium, and gynecium, the flowers are classified into three types. Hypogynous flower. The gynecium ovary occupies highest position while the parts are situated below it. The ovary in such flowers is called superior. Example: mustard, china rose, brinjal. Mustard, china rose, brinjal are epigynous flower. Hypogynous flower. Mustard, china rose, brinjal are hypogynous. Epigynous is also there, but that is last. Epigynous is inferior ovary. Hypogynous is superior ovary. Perigynous is half inferior. So perigynous flowers. The gynecium is situated in the center, and the other parts of flower located on the rim of the thalamus, almost at the same level. The ovary here is called half inferior. Example: plum, rose, peach. Plum, rose, peach fall under this one. Perigynous flower. Now epigynous flower, it is the margin of the thalamus goes upward, enclosing the ovary completely and get fused with it. The other parts of the flower arise above the ovary. The ovary is called inferior. Guava and cucumber and the ray florets of sunflower. Parts of a flower. Parts of a flower. There are four parts of a flower. First one is the calyx. Outermost or the first whole of the flower consists of sepals, generally green leaf-like structures, and protects the flowers in the bud stage. The calyx may be gammacephalous, that is sepals united, or polycephalous, sepals free. Gammacephalous is the sepals united, polycephalous is sepals are free. Second one is corolla. It is the second roll of a flower. Members are called petals. They are usually brighter in color to attract insects for pollination. The corolla may be same petalous, that is petals united, and polypetalous, petals are free. The shape and color of corolla vary from plant to plant. It may be tubular, disc floweret of sunflower, bell-shaped, campanulate, funnel-shaped, or infundibulbiform, wheel-shaped, or rotate, or cruciform, or papillineous. Calyx and corolla are called accessory holes. In some flowers like lily, the calyx and corolla are not distinct and are called parent. Not distinct and they are attached, and hence they are called parent. Estivation, the mode of arrangement of sepals or petals in the floral bud with respect to other members of the same whole is called estivation. Types of estivation, there are like 5 types of estivation. First one is the valvate one, when the sepals or petals in the whole just touch one another at the margin without overlapping. Example: calotropis. Twisted or controlled, when the margin of the appendage is overlaps that of the next one, and so on. Example: china rose, lady's finger, and cotton. Twisted one or the contorted one. Imbricate one, when the margin of sepals or petals overlap one another but not in any particular direction. Example: cassia, gulmohar, Delonix regia also. They are like not in particular region but are still being overlapped over each other. Pinconchial, out of the 5 sepals, petals, 2 are completely internal, 2 external, and 1 has 1 margin external, and the other margin external is example guava. Okay. Vexillary or papillineous. Five petals. The largest posterior one is called standard vexillum. The estivation is called estivation. Stimulation. Five petals. The largest posterior part one is called standard vexillum. The estivation is called vexillary. Two large ring petals and anterior to keel peak. Example P and P. Antecium. It is the third floor and is made up of one of the more stamens, microphyllus. Each stamen represents that male reproductive organ and consists of filament and anther. Each anther is usually bilobed and each lobe consists of two chambers. One is pollen sac. The bilobar anther is called diathecus. PM datura. Diathecus. PM datura for bilobe. And then we have when anther is single lobed, it is called monothecus. Cotton Chinaros malvaceae. Cotton Chinaros malvaceae single lobed. A sterile stamen is also known as staminode. Example Cassia sps. Cassia sps. Steroidal hormones. Polyandrous when the stamens remain free from each other. Example mustard and radish. Yeah, mustard and radish are like free from any of these things. Then we have union of stamens, then that is cohesion of stamens and adhesion of stamens. Monoarylifers, when filaments are united to form one bunch or one bundle, as example genital. Diarylifers, when filaments are united to form more than two bundles, example P. Polyarylifers, filaments are united to form more than two bundles, example Cypress. Then we have synechiasis. The anthers are united into bundles, but the filaments are free. Example spondylar. This is right opposite of gynoecium. The synandrous stamens, another as well as filaments of stamens are united throughout their whole length. Example alopecia and lupus. Adhesion of stamens. When the stamens are attached to the petals, it is called epipetalous. Brinjal Chinaris. When the stamens are attached to the penile, it is called epiphyllus. So, like example lily. In case of salvia and mustard, the length of filament of structures varies within a single flower. In ocimum, radish, turnip, cauliflower, cabbage, also the length of filaments of stamens varies with a single flower. Just single flower, everything varies. Attachment of filament to anther, basifix. Filament attached to the base of the anther, that is mustard. Filament attached along the whole length of anther, that is Michaelia and magnolia. Dorsifix. Filament attached to the neck of the anther, passion flower. Then another lobes attached with filament in the middle portion of the both ends are Raminae and family. Diescency pattern. Porous. Pollen grains released through pores. Example brinjal and potato. Longitudinal. Pollen released through the longitudinal slit of anther loops. Example Chinaros and quadruples. Then gynoecium is the total fourth floor and female reproductive part of a flower is made up of one or more examples of like 6 and 4. Then it is like the fourth roll and female reproductive part of a flower and is made up of one or more carpets. Minimum dispute, maximum cavity. Then the gynoecium part after this. Urvous pollen grains released through porous brinjal potato. Longitudinal potato is released through the light of anther. all for the study life session. Zoology I kept it quite interactive compared to botany because many of them were memorizing stuffs here. There's nothing to explain over here. It's all memorizing. And I'm done with the botany and zoology. See you soon in the next study live session. Till then, yep. Let me see any comments if there are. Hi. Hello. I'm from Bangalore. Well, are you from junior post CBSE program? Yes, I'm from Bangalore. Well, that's all for today's session. With that, I'll be ending today's session. Good night, sweet teams. Bye bye.